With the insulation and wrap in place, we're ready to install our windows. Our home will be utilizing 33 windows and 3 sets of sliding glass doors, so proper installation will play a big role in the house's feel and energy use.
As we've been going through this process, one of the most important things of any home is that exterior envelope. Windows are a very key component of that. With the windows that we're using here, they're not a traditional double pane. We're actually using a triple pane, which is a little bit unusual for most everyday homes that are being built nowadays. And right now we're looking at about a 0.19 on the U factor. Now what the U factor means is how much heat the window actually transfers back and forth. Then there's this thing called the SHGC. You'll see it on your label. That stands for your solar heat gain coefficient. And this is another way of explaining how much that the heat comes into the home. For this project, we're at about 0.19 for the U factor, whereas something more traditional would be in like the 0.32 or 0.30 range. And the organization that actually does these ratings for the windows is called the National Fenestration Rating Council. So it's not like we come out here and we decide the window is XYZ U factor. There's actually a third-party organization that tests the windows as a complete unit and then tells us what the U factor is.
Now we know that there are ratings to look for as we purchase windows, but there is still much to learn about how windows perform. Luckily, we have the chance to speak with window expert John Ciccone about windows' hidden technologies.
What makes a vinyl window different than a wood window is we actually create chambers inside the frame of the window which traps air. And as you know, air is what causes energy efficiency in homes.
Because it acts as insulation basically when it's trapped in these channels?
Exactly. Like fiberglass insulation, it's not necessarily the fiberglass that causes the insulation, it's actually the air trapped in the fibers.
Very good.
Pretty cool stuff, right? Same thing with our vinyl window here. We've trapped air inside the chambers and we create this insulation factor. The other thing we want to consider is the glass pack. So this is a triple pane insulated glass pack inside this window.
Yeah, I see there's 3. I've never seen 3 before.
Exactly. This is becoming more and more popular. In the old days when energy wasn't as costly, we used a single pane. And also we didn't have the technology to do what we can do today. This insulated pack right here consists of 3 panes of glass, and I like to say the more panes in your window, less pain in your wallet. We also create 2 air cavities with the triple panes of glass, and we can do some things to those air cavities to make them even more efficient.
Like what?
Well, we can actually do low E inside the glass pack on 1 or 2 surfaces.
Okay, low E, that's a term I've heard. What does that stand for?
Well, the E actually stands for emissivity, but it's not anything we want to talk about here because it'll bore our viewers to death. So can I tell you what it does?
Please.
Okay, low E actually prohibits the rays from coming through the glass. The rays that warm your house in the summertime can also fade your carpets and your drapes.
Oh yes.
So low E, it's pretty smart stuff. It is actually a microscopic metal oxide film or additive to the glass. And it, as I said, it's pretty smart stuff. Summertime, sun is high in the sky, and the rays are very steep, so it won't come through the glass. Wintertime, sun is a little bit lower, it does come through the glass. And unfortunately, you can't really see it. You can't tell it's there. But they will label the window so you know it does have low E.
Look for low E.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing we can do to the cavities, we can add gas to it.
Ah, what kind of gas?
What kind of gas? I knew you were going to ask me that. Actually, the most common gas is argon. Now, let me tell you what gas does. Gas is really a denser, inert air, if you will. So it prohibits the transfer of heat and cold from side to side. Sort of does what low E does, but it does it in a different fashion. Argon, like I said, is most common. We can also use krypton. That's the stuff that killed Superman.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Really, it's not the stuff that killed Superman. In fact, it wouldn't hurt you or I. It's odorless, it's tasteless, and it's non-toxic. So people shouldn't be afraid about putting gas inside the cavity. If a pane of glass breaks, it's not going to poison anybody in the home.
Right. These are just basic elements from the periodic chart.
Exactly.
Okay.
You did your science in
I
school.
did.
Yes,
I did.
you did. Final thing I want to talk to you about is installation. You know, with any good product, especially an energy efficient product like windows, if you don't install it properly, it's not going to do any good. So the installer's got to follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Otherwise, air leaking into the home, none of this is any good anymore. Does that make sense?
It does. Oh, this has been so informative, and I'm sure that whoever ends up with this home will enjoy the windows for not only their beauty, but also for the technology behind it.